Okay, well done. Time to move on to single note and single string picking. I'd say this one's a bit more challenging than what I typically start people out with, but based on what you've shown so far and what you did in the skill evaluation videos, let's try it. Let's see what happens here. Um, so basically, just hitting up like the different patterns, the easy patterns that we come across a lot. So like the whole step twice, and then the whole step, half step twice, and the half step, whole step twice. And then we got the whole step, half step twice, half step, whole step twice, and then whole step twice. And then getting ready for the turnaround, we got that note, hold for 3 beats, and then yeah, just go back the same way we came. All right, count of 3. So counting out loud, not necessary for this one here. Tapping your foot, still very important. Let's lock into that metronome, lock into the beat. 1, 2, 3. All right, 120, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right, 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I believe there's like a few more, maybe about three more scale memorization things, I think. Something like that for the descending things before we change keys. So, the extra thing to do here for the theory homework stuff, because I get the sense you understand the whole changing modes well, then we're going to move on to new things, which still ties into modes, and when we're going to get into chords soon. But I want to make sure some important knowledge is there. So I'll bring up what we're going to do. That's not the right one. That's the right screen. Okay. So basically, we got that major scale formula listed at the top. And then what we have here are the notes that make up the key of C, or the C major scale. So your job is to input the notes for each corresponding major scale. So you got G for the key of G major, or the G major scale. And so what you're going to do is basically just hit the space bar enough times. I know it's not very well, this isn't very well set up as far as like terms of like ease of use, but maybe someday I'll figure out a way to make it easier. But anyway, you follow the whole step, half step stuff. Follow the major scale formula to figure out, well, what note comes next. So basically, when you go up a whole step from G, what is it? It's going to be A. Use your guitar to help out as well. You go up a whole step from A, you land on B. You go up a half step from B, you land on C. You go up a whole step from D or C, you land on D. You go up a whole step from D, you land on E. Go up a whole step from E, it is F sharp. So remember, the distance between E and F, it's actually shown right here, is a half step. And then, so it's really important to remember, between E and F, it's a half step, and B to C is a half step. So everything else is a whole step in terms of natural notes. So the non-sharps and non-flats. So your natural notes, everything has a whole step in between it, except E and F, B and C. So if you just remember elephants for E and F, and then BC Rich guitars for the B and C. And then you go up a half step from the F sharp, it lands on G. So the very final note you should end up at is the same note you started with. If you end up with something different, then you did something wrong. So the first portion here, these will be keys increasing in sharps. Kind of gave something away there. But yeah, you're going to have sharp symbols for up here. And then down here where you see the major scale formula, again, this is when you have scales or the major scales with flat notes involved. Basically the same idea. You're going to be going up following that major scale formula. So go up a whole step from F, you land on G. Go up a whole step from G, you get to A. A half step up, you get to B flat. Now, some people will sometimes say, oh, that's A sharp. Incorrect. That's not how we name things like this. And you may have already learned this stuff. So this might be really easy. So just send it over whenever you got it done. Yeah, we need to use all 7 note names with these major scales. So after A, it has to be G something. After that, it has to be A something. And after A, it has to be B something. So when we're dealing with these 7 note scales, we use every note name. We don't have an A, then an A sharp, and then go up to C. We got to go A, B flat, so B something, and then C. So that happens every single time. So when you're doing it properly, you will never see sharps and flats mixed in the same major scale. It just doesn't happen. So if you end up having like a B or a flat and then a sharp in the same scale, something's gone wrong. You can definitely have plenty of flats and naturals or naturals and sharps, but when you're dealing with major scales, you will never see a sharp and a flat in the same scale, if done correctly. And then, yeah, whole step up from the B flat gets you the C. Whole step up from C, you get D. Whole step up from D, you get E. Half step up from that, you get F. So that's the idea. Fill it out, send it over, and yep, keep memorizing that stuff, the rest of the scale stuff before we move to the key of G. And then, yeah, we're going to be diving into the chord theory, which ties into the mode theory as well. But if you got any mode questions or any theory questions, let me know. And I'm going to erase what I entered here so you can fill it in to get the good practice. And yes, any questions come up, let me know. And hint, B sharp exists, C flat exists, E sharp exists, and F flat exists. I know between B and C, it's a half step, and E and F is a half step. Doesn't change the fact that sometimes you will come across E sharp or F flat, and sometimes you will come across B sharp or C flat. So, a bit of a hint for some things. Okay, any questions come up, let me know. I'll see you again in your new videos.